Hello, welcome everyone. So in today's episode, I just want to briefly show you what we did in the previous episode, and also to show you how I polished the filtering plus the pagination that we covered in the previous episode. So in the previous episode, we had some issues with searching. Okay, so somehow I tried to work on the searching so that it is actually streamlined. So what we did in the previous episode, at least the one thing you should be doing is that if you go in your categories and you click on the category page, it should now filter all products by that category. So in other words, it should route you to the category page, and on the category page we have different filters. Let me just click on one of these categories, and by the way, I'm using my small PC, so if the sound is not clear or the video is not clear, please let me know so that I can change. But I was simply using this PC just to show you where I have reached so far, and we are about to finish the project really. So if you just right now check, I clicked on this category, you can see we have been routed to category poultry updated, and this name is captured here and it is also here, and you can see the total products we have 8. Okay, so now if I just go and start filtering, and you can see pagination by default, they will paginate to the first page. You can see page 1 is active, showing you that it is the one that is on. Okay, so if I try to first of all go to the next page, I can show you pagination. You can see that we can route to next by clicking on this next. It should take us to page 2. Okay, so you can see now we are on page 2, and even here on the UI it shows page 2. And of course on this we set by default the sort is going to be ascending, so if you don't give any sorting, we are going to take ascending by default. Of course you can change this, and you say now you want high to low, so you click on high to low. You set now it will change this one starting from the highest to the lowest, or you can go back, and you can see that if I go back it goes from now low to high. Okay, you can now start adding more other filters, okay, to this. For instance, I can say above 700. Okay, now you can see that we are on page 2. There is no any which is above minimum 700. Let me go back. Okay, so you can say let's first go back to maybe the previous page, just like this. So we are now on page 1. I just want to apply filters. So if I say under 300, okay, under 300 we have one product. Between 300 and 500, you can see we are filtering very well. 500 and 700, okay, so you can see we have actually one product. And then above 700 we have these ones here. Okay, so now at this filtering, you can even reset all these. You can also go ahead and search any of these. Let's say you already have maybe under 300 and you want to search maybe a minimum of 350, so you can say 350, and a maximum maybe of 8, maybe 700. Okay, so you can just go ahead and search that, and you can see it is captured here, 350 and 700, and you have the products back. So the filtering and searching is cool. I will take you through what we did in this case. Okay, so what we did in this case, if you go to front end category and you go on the category page, so basically is that in the first place we are actually getting all the params. Okay, so I really simplified this to a very simple version. So you see that we are getting all the params, the sort, and by default we assign it to ascending if there is no any that is assigned. The minimum we give 0 if there is nothing, and maximum we say to empty, and then page to 1. That is if there are no values set to them, we give them the defaults. Okay, and then we go ahead and we get the camera by this slug, the category to this slug. So now we have the category back. Now we go ahead and now get the products. Actually, you could even make this one as const. Okay, you go ahead and now get all the products. And after getting the products that belong to this, and how are we getting the products? We are actually sending a request to products, but we append the cat ID, we append the page, the sort, the minimum, and the maximum. So like we are putting all the filters and the sorting at the same time, and we send all these ones. So when you go to see where this request goes from, this is where the big logic actually goes. You can see it goes to actually products. So if we just go to, we minimize this front end and you open API products and you go to this route, we also simplified this. So if I just go to this gate here, so you can see I first get all these things from also the params. So I'm extracting them from this request that we actually sent here. So when you send these ones, you can see you also put them as params. So I'm actually just first getting them here. So you get all these params using request.nexturl.search params, then .get. So we get the cat ID, we get the sort, min, max, and the page. Okay, so then if the min is there, we go ahead and set this one. We did some of this work in the previous episode. Then the biggest thing is to come here and then that to make sure that in every place or in every of these queries we are actually doing pagination. So pagination for it has to be there under all circumstances. Like in all instances we first paginate. That's why you see pagination is actually in all instances. Even here we do pagination. Okay, so that if someone is on that page, the pagination will be working. And by default we have the page size plus the page, so you can use these two to control what a user sees. Okay, so we just go ahead and do, if there is category and sort, then we do the sorting whereby we have order by sales price, and if sort by is equal ascending, then the sales price will be ascending, else will be descending. Then we do the same if there is category ID alone, then we go ahead and do this. And then finally, if there's no any of these of the above, we just only do this, the pagination. Okay, so that is cool. And that's how we are filtering actually these products here. So let's just go, how are we doing this? So if we just go to the filter component, you can see we are passing the category and the products. So if you just notice that the products are gotten from this back here, and we are going to see why we need the categories. The category normally is, we need a slug from it and a title. So you can see this slug here we are using here. Okay, and some of these things we're using, the slug we're using on these links, we are actually getting it from this one. Okay, now before I show you the logic, in these filters, let's first go ahead and see the demo for the search. So I'm just going to go here and type in something for search, and let's type in either like one of these ones. You're going to see like you can type anything really. So you can just say maybe poultry, and then I just type search, and this is going to route to, you can see it routes to search, and it has this query poultry, and you see we capture the query And we are using the same component. If you just think about it, we are using the same component, okay? And it has the same thing. You can do the under 300, you can do between 3 and 500, between 700. You can have these filters, and you can see they are penning very well on the search and they are working. So you can also reset, okay? You can also reset this, and you can do high to low. You can see now it is high to low now. You can just do low to high. I can reset back, and then look at this pagination. Now the one thing we have with pagination, you can see the products we have 3. I think in that case we should be not showing these other 2, because if I go to page 2, I think I should not have anything there. But if you go to next, since there is only one page, it actually can't route to any next page. It will keep on routing to this very page. Okay, so the search somehow is working. There is this one problem here where we are losing the param. I think I will fix it on these 2 buttons, as we are fixing actually the entire pagination. But basically everything right now is actually working. I'm just going to go back to this point. Okay, so now that you have seen that we are using the same logic, the searching plus the category page, I just want to show you how this one works behind the scenes. So now, taking into consideration that we have the category page and we have also the filter, the category page. So we have 2 things, the category page and the search page. Now to differentiate that, I introduced a new parameter on the filter component. If you go on the under search page, you will see that we have exactly the same thing, but you are going to see that there is a difference when it comes to whether it is a search page or not. So basically we're also putting the same thing, and here I'm trying to create the category, since we don't have a category here. But how I'm creating it, I'm giving it the same things, because from the category we want a title. So the title, I'm calling it the search, which actually is this param we are getting from the search params. Okay, so in this page, the only thing we just add on is actually the search. On the category page is the same thing, but we don't have the search on these params. Okay, so on the search page, we simply first add this param, and we're using that param to be the title. Okay, and we will not need the slug even if I remove it. Okay, then one thing I've introduced on the category is this thing called is search. Okay, and instead of passing it here, I decided to pass it in the category here to say is search. Okay, and here by default I'm giving it is search is true. Therefore in the category page, since we have the category from the database, we don't actually have a search on there. So if we just go to the filter component here, you can see the first thing here I'm doing, I'm getting the title and the slug. And where am I sending these ones? I'm sending the title in the breadcrumb, and this is the title you see here in the breadcrumb on top here. This is the breadcrumb, so this is what we need, the title. And now in this case, you're going to set the title. We still have it from the category. In both cases, the filter, the category page and the search page. Now for the slug, we need it to send it to the sorting. Now if you look at the sorting, this is the sorting, this one. So in the filter page, if it is a category page, these ones will be using the slug, and in this case they will not be using the slug. I'm just going to show you how I handled that. So now so we have the sorting. Let's start with the sorting. So in the sorting, if you see, I'm saying there is search. So we want to know if this is a search page or it is a category page. If it's a search page, if is search is true, that is a search page. If it is false, then we are working with the category page. So if I just go to the first thing I'm doing here, I'm first getting all these all the params. I'm getting the sort, min, max, search, page, and everything. So I'm getting all these params from use search params. So after getting them, then we go to the sorting links. So this is where each of these links, you remember, we had given it that, okay? We had given it this. If you say high to low, this is just using some links. So we have to, using is search, we can actually know which link we should use. If, for instance, if your search is true, then we should prefix using search because you're going to be on the search page. Else, we are actually on the category page. Then we use the slug. And using that is the only technique I use it, only that. Using the is search, and then I prefix these ones. Okay? Now going down here, of course, you just come and put these ones. There's nothing you need to change down here. We just leave them the way it is. The only logic was to be put in here only. Okay, so leaving that component, if I go back here, the second component is the filters. So if you look at the filters, these are the filters on the site. Okay, now notice that here we don't have a custom price input, while on the category page we have, if I try to go home and then I go like to this poultry, you notice that on the category page we have the custom input. Okay, I intentionally just removed it since for sure we will be having maybe less product or something like that, but we can still add it, okay, if you want it. So if you just do that, you see that I'm passing in the slug and I'm also passing in is search. And since it's search on the category, it has a possibility of not being there. That's why I'm saying category.is search. So you are sending two things to the filters, the slug and the. So in the filters, we have the price, of course, and the brand, and other filters. If you have them, you'll be adding them here. That's why I added this component. So now we are sending these very two things to the filter, price filter, and I'm getting them here. So the first thing, I also get all the params. So I get all these params, the min, max, search, sort, page, and all other things. Okay. Now this other one, this params is actually not necessary. I was testing out something. So if you see, everything remains the same. We have this, the price ranges, you can change them, of course. And then we have this, this function is not even necessary because you said we are not using that in the. So I'm just simply also using the same thing. For instance, where we have reset filters, you can see that on the reset, if it is search, we are resetting back to search, question mark search is equal search, else we are putting on the category page. So I'm using this is search to know if I'm on the category page or the search page. The same thing here. Now I did also is search, and you can notice I used this new URL search params. This is a good way of actually manipulating the search params. Okay, you can just use new URL search params, and then you can pass in all the params that you want. Now since we have the page, sort, and we pass all these ones, now if it is search is true, we just want to pass in also the search, and if it is false, then we don't need to pass in the search. We pass in others apart from the search, and that's the only change you need to do in this component. Okay, then on this one, of course, this is to show these the range that is maybe working or something, like for activeness I did for all those options. That's the ones you have here. And by the way, if you have a better solution for this, I feel like this is too much. I think I should just somehow look for a way to optimize this part here. I feel like this is, I did an overhead here. So the same thing here, I'm just hiding the form on search. So if you say, if it's on search page, I just hide on this this one. Okay, that's cool. So now the next part is actually just to look at the pagination. Now on these other parts, of course, we are just rendering the products. Now let's look at the pagination, which is actually inside the products. So if you just go to the filter component one more time, you'll find that in this core span we have these filter products. And if you look at, I'm sending the product count and the products. Now in the product count, why we're just not getting it from the products is that this product count is actually calculated based on the products that are inside the categories. So you can see I have product count is calculating from category.product count to actually know the actual lengths of the products. Now why we are doing that is that you might not know the actual products coming from the database. So this 8 is the actual number of products that are inside the database under this category. But the one that we will show here, there will be the actual products that have been rendered from a query. Okay. So this is the case why I had to get the products from the category, because the category will give you the actual number of products, while the products we are passing here, they are the ones which have been filtered and manipulated from the backend. Okay. So now if you just go in this inside this, you will see that actually we have the pagination, and we are first getting the page size and also the total number of pages from the product count and the page size. We can know the total number of pages, and then we pass this here in the paginate. You can see the paginate component, which is having the actual pagination. We are passing this total number of pages. Okay. Now you can just go here after having the number of pages. You can also have we have all these parameters here. Okay, and I think we need also is search here. I think that's why like we have issues with the, because if you just click on this pagination, you can see it in a case of this category, it is going to work very well. But when we switch to the search, so if I just go here and I just now search poultry, now on the search page, you will see that this changes, because we actually it is still trying to access, it is on search page, but we don't have the search param. So what I'm just going to do is that I'm just going to pass in actually here, and just have to have the is search. Okay. This is search, we need it, and we can pass it right away from this filter component. So this is the place where we are getting it. So I'm just going to copy this exactly the way it is and pass it to this component here. So we are passing is search to the filtered component. So if I just switch on the filtered products, go ahead and get this is search. As simple as that, is search. So just get it here, and let's continue pass this down to the paginate. So here on the paginate, they just go ahead and actually pass in this. So now in this pagination, we can just use it to know which link how to paginate or how to render them. So I'm just going to go now to the paginate component inside here, and we have is search. So now I can just start by also getting the search param. So here we can just like duplicate this, and we have the search param. So I'm just going to say search is here, get search. Okay. Now I might just like prefix it by empty if I wanted, but it will always be there if we are on the search page. So that one is not to worry, because we're going to be using is search. So now if you just check on what it is doing here, for instance for the previous button, you can see is that is having also, if the current page we're using this new array search params, and we are having this page sort, min, and max. So we can actually just do also we can just go and consider the two scenarios. Okay, we can go ahead and consider the two scenarios, and one is on the category page. Okay, one is on the category page. So let me just see, what do we need to do? So we have three or four scenarios we have here, and we have to look for a way how to handle this properly. So what I'm just going to do is actually just rendering this whole entire thing here, because this one is going to be rendered if, okay, we're just going to render this. So I'm just going to copy on this, cut this, and you just say if is such. Okay, so if is such is true, then we can put this, else we can put another one. Okay, so in the first case, we just need this to have to put page 1, but here what we only need to add is that we just have to add the search. Okay, so we can just say search. So we have to append search here also. Okay, so the same thing even here, we just need to append search. So I'm just going to say here and say search. And since we named it search, that's why we're just putting only one key, because even here we actually just named it search. I'm hoping that the spelling of search. And then down here we are good, we can leave it like that. So we do the same thing here. So on these ones, just simply go to where we have this, Ctrl X, and just say if is search, just like that, is true. Okay, then we put this, then we put this. Okay,